All right. What is up, everybody? It is the Friday Mastermind. Every Friday, 9 o'clock Pacific, we are here to bring leadership to Mastermind. We always bring in awesome guests. More times than not, we have Todd Bookspan, but Deborah's going to do a good job today of doing the role of both Todd, Win by Noon Todd, and social media master, Deborah Bird. What's up, D
It
Bird?
just fits in with all my multiple personalities, right? Now I have a personality of Todd. I already do it for him on social, so might as well be both on here, right? I think that was his strategy. It's called leverage.
Yeah. Hey, Todd Bookspan is a lot of people. I think a lot of people know this. A lot of people don't know it. Is his team did over 500 loans a year. I want to say like 10-ish
For
years.
a decade, yeah,
Yeah,
over a
for a
decade.
decade. So like he's really well known as like the coach's coach. Like people that want to scale and do big volume, they get coached by Todd Bookspan. When he was with Building Champions, that was his specialty. Like, oh, you're doing 300 loans and you want to learn how to do 500 loans a year? Get coached by Todd Bookspan. So we're lucky to have him as our co-leader. Deborah, anything you want to say to frame the call before we bring in our special guest today?
Just that it's the last official business day for May. So, hopefully everyone's putting the gas on the fire and going out there and drumming up business and maximizing opportunities because this is go time. There's a lot of families trying to get into the new home before the next school year starts. We have some that are becoming empty nesters. I think Wally is one of those, if I saw that correctly. So congrats to you, Wally. But some of your messaging should be, targeting those going through those life stages and how can you meet them with where they're at. And for some, maybe it's buying property with where their kids are going to college, or it's activities like first home IQ. What lessons could you bring to the home for these kiddos that are, here for summer? And I don't know, it's only been a week and I'm about to go crazy with them in the house.
Love.
So just take advantage of these opportunities, especially while we have them and when there's more inventory and more options for buyers than ever.
Yeah, no, well said. Good point. I'm gonna frame this a little, well, one, asking for a favor that I really want you guys to take action on what I'm gonna ask and put it in chat at some point today. But Kristen Messerly and I, for the third time, are writing something that we call the State of the Mortgage Industry Halftime Report. So this will be the third year that we've done it. It's where I interview a combination of C-suite leaders, uh, coaches and consultants, and top producers. And in the past, as humans, we like, okay, what are the commonalities? What are the trends? What are the opportunities? What are the challenges? And then, guys, here's a playbook of how to win the second half. Because anybody who watches football, who wins the first half isn't necessarily who wins the second half. And all the time, you'll see one team just crush it in the first half or choke in the first half. They'll make halftime adjustments, and it's like a new game. And so I've always loved this idea of just halftime report. And then as you get in the fourth quarter, you all know you can win the first half, the third quarter, and then completely lose the game in the fourth quarter. So, I mean, every quarter matters, every minute matters, but halftime matters. And we're almost at the halftime. So here's my ask. Please, in chat, at some point before this call's over, I want to aggregate what are some of the most important things that you think have happened in the industry? And I'm not going to give examples of like pivotal things that have either created new opportunities, they've created new challenges. What's one or two things that you think is most important? Please put that in chat, and
Is
it will
that
be
just for this year, Dave?
for this half.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
like it's June. I can
Hmm.
think of. Well, I've interviewed a lot of people, so I've got a lot of different answers. I'm not going to seed this, but help me write this report with Kristen and put your comments in chat. So, guys, let's bring in our special guest. It's Wally Elibiary. He almost needs no introduction because I've interviewed him so many times for this community. He is a top producer. He is a leader. He's a business builder. He's a coach. He's an author, and he turns other loan officers into mortgage coaches. What's up, Wally?
So, brother, I appreciate you having me on. Just for the record, Deborah's cracking me up about her Dallas joke in the chat there about football and basketball. I'm like, that's pretty clever, pretty clever.
Yeah, we'll just stick with hockey.
I would stick with hockey. Yeah, I think everybody in LA loves the Luka trade. Everybody in Dallas had their heart broken when he left. So,
Yes.
but yeah, I appreciate you having me on. Definitely a huge fan, and I think it was I love the photo. I think it was you, Mike, and Brian on your one of your walks, Dave. And I'm like, this is like the Mount Rushmore of mortgage. And I always want to fly out to Newport just to have a walk with you on the beach and make a video. But we need to get that scheduled.
Yeah, hey, it's become a thing. Like I have people come into town like, Dave, want to do a walk and talk? I did an incredible walk and talk with Sean Herrero yesterday, and then he's putting on an event today. Well, yesterday and today. It's called Mindset, 2-day boot camp, and I took, I think it was 8 of his people that are out here for the workshop. Spectacular. Check it out. It'll be on. I think I might have done a post already, but there'll be another post, on Instagram. So, and if you are in town, I love to hang out with mortgage people, at, all levels of this business. So if you ever want to do a walk and talk, I do it, whether I'm doing it by myself, listening to an audiobook, or I'm doing it with someone else and I'm talking to them. So let me know if you guys want to, if you want to do it. So, so Wally, you picked this headline. Well, you picked the genesis of the headline. It had to do with market share. It had to do with bravery. I did a little chat GPT, put a little savage sauce on it, and it said, Wally, which one? And you're like, boom. So we this is an AI augmented headline, but but what was, market share doesn't shift, it's taken by the brave. Like what where did that come from? Why?
I'd say, well, first of all, I can definitely, it was when you sent that back in, like, man, that's a really good, that's definitely an awesome title. I had a guess it was a little chat GBT up a little bit, which is brilliant. But I'd just say the biggest thing is one thing that Nikki and I just celebrated 20 years of marriage, which we're really, really proud of. And one thing that we talked about, we even talked about it this morning when I was leaving the house. And I think most loan officers want to be liked by everyone. And I think right now you've got to understand that her now, it really bothers her when she meets somebody that doesn't like me. And what I explained to her is, for me to win, for me to be able to provide for my family, another loan officer has to lose. It's really that simple. And we've got to have the understanding of that for me to be a good father and a good provider and a good leader, then I've got to have to win. But you got to be okay with other people losing. Does not mean that they're bad people or in that nature, but I'm okay not being liked because I know inside the 4 walls of my house is I'm being brave enough to provide for my family. But I talk to loan officers and I coach a lot of loan officers, and sometimes I hear things like, I don't know if you ever hear this, Dave and Deb, but well, I can't really go after that realtor because that realtor uses ABC loan officer, and that loan officer is I see him at a networking event from time to time. I'm like, dude, like,
Or they're a friend, like, oh, that's my friend, or he's a good loan officer, but like we've got a relationship.
yeah. And I mean, the way I break it down to him is like, listen, go try to be better than the other loan officer. How do you become different? How do you provide something that the other loan officer is not providing? And it opens the door of talking about the 6-lane highway, talking about mortgage efficiency checkup calls. One thing that we started doing beginning of this year, which has been a brilliant turnaround for a lot of our loan officers, is we're now adopting a realtor's database, calling and scheduling for the realtor an annual real estate review on their calendar with their clients. We've done this so far the last 6 months, and so far there's a loan officer. I'm sorry, there's a realtor here locally. His name is Lance, and Lance has picked up $64,000 in commissions year to date that the client concierge team has called his database, scheduled appointments with his past clients on his calendar. You can think of like, how can you be different in the marketplace and bring that value to the table? Did I explain that okay?
Yeah, yeah, I like that. Well, I didn't know that's where you're going to go with the whole Brave angle. There's so many ways to do it, and I'm going to plug in Brave all along. First of all, asking a realtor for their database is an act of bravery, and like that's not something that most loan officers are comfortable doing. That's probably not something that most loan officers will be successful at doing because, first of all, for Wally to do that, he had to be brave enough to create a plan and a strategy that was a database first plan. And I know that because I interviewed him years ago when he said, I'm going to make my database a real priority. And he spent a whole year putting systems in process. By the way, brave enough to have a relationship with Mortgage Coach, brave enough to have a relationship to use our data services so that he's monitoring his database, brave enough to hire enough team and staff to make sure that the touch points that matter most on that database are getting executed at scale. So there's just a lot of things that go into that. So that's what kind of went through my head as I was hearing you say it.
It's brave enough and also humble enough. I remember when we started our journey together, Dave, back in 2019, me calling my database. A lot of it was the apology conversation. Hey, Bob, I closed your loan 3 years ago at 123 Apple Street. I owe you an apology. I've not contacted you. I've not stayed in relationship with you. But what I did to add value to you is I updated your total cost analysis. And I think when you and I sat down and like, okay, what is a technology tool? Technology tool to me was Mortgage Coach to help me win the deal. But where most loan officers really kind of dropped the ball, including myself for so many years, is I used Mortgage Coach to help me win the deal, but then after closing, I stopped using Mortgage Coach. Well, you can update your total cost analysis with a closing disclosure. Now the client concierge team does that for us loan officers. But then as you're doing these annual mortgage reviews or these mortgage efficiency checkup calls with your clients, you're having that deep dive financial conversation. And what's super cool about that, now that when we're adopting realtors databases and doing this for our realtors also, they're providing us not only the database, but they're also providing us the closing disclosures. So can you imagine if you're a loan officer and a realtor provides you a list of 100 people that they've closed and also the closing disclosures from those, you know what interest rates they're at, you know what the loan amounts were, you know all the data is, and all you've got to do is create them total cost analysis. Then it gives you the opportunity when they're doing an annual real estate review, the realtor plugs you in to do an annual mortgage review at the same time. It's an opportunity for you to be able to collaborate with your realtor's database while you're brave enough to be able to take on the database that other loan officers closed and funded originally.
Yeah, no, brave enough to make the calls and brave enough to do what matters most every day. And I do love that metaphor and that phrasing.
Well, it's something that, I mean, it's also brave enough to be able to use the tools. I remember it was Modern Mortgage Summit. I think it was like 2022 or 23. We were in Vegas together, and brilliant idea by Jeremy Forcier. He was talking about how he uses the 1003 as a prospecting tool. And I took that and it really resonated with me because I've been using tax returns and I've been using investment statements as a tool to prospect. Every tax return I ever get, and that's why I teach loan officers, every tax return you ever get, pick up the phone and call the CPA that's on the tax return. It's specifically right there and say, hey, you don't know me from Adam, but we've got a mutual client, John Smith. I'm helping John Smith right now close a mortgage on 123 Apple Street. Has he let you know that he's buying a house? Okay, well, I wanted to let you know. Now, I want to talk you through my total cost analysis, how I'm presenting options to him, because I want to make sure your tax strategies that you have actually mirror and match, and I'm not hurting you with your strategies. You're doing the same conversation with a financial advisor, and you get your financial advisor statement. Most loan officers just look at, okay, cool, the client's got 200 grand in investments. Let me plug that into their LOS, but you've got the name and number of the financial advisor. You've got to be brave enough to make that outbound call. And you're like, hey, you don't know me from Adam, but we've got a mutual client, John Smith. And John Smith and I are doing a mortgage together. You're his financial advisor. Has he let you know that he's buying a house? Then you're entering a relationship with a CPA, a financial advisor, doing the same thing with a family will attorney, doing the same thing with the insurance agent. And our model here at Aspire and 24/7 Mindset is you get one referral from a realtor, just like everyone else. You refer it out 4 different ways. You refer it out to a CPA, a financial advisor, a family will attorney, or an insurance agent. And at minimum, you receive 1 or 2 referrals back. You just became a multiplier loan officer making 3 commissions, where most loan officers only make 1 commission off that opportunity.
I love that, Wally. I love that. So, by the way, I have an idea I want to share that just came to mind is I heard what you said, but before I do that, we're leaving the fourth quarter of this call, and I know Deborah. Every time I say that, it gives you like these Dallas Cowboy
Oh, God.
cringes. But
No, Dallas
you're
Stars.
the one that connected the football analogy to Dallas, so I'm not going to let you live it down. But anything you want to call out from what Wally said, or any questions you want to ask?
Yeah, just from what I am seeing, I'd love to know, how do you coach your LOs to go from fear from making those calls and asking those brave questions to then brave? Because there's a lot of call reluctance out there and just, fear of the relationship, maybe because they do know that person. How do you get them over that?
You, you and Todd. So exactly what to say. So we took what you put together and exactly what you said that you taught me and Caleb, and we put together exactly what to say for annual mortgage reviews or mortgage efficiency checkup calls. So exactly what to say, and they're one-liners. Anybody can memorize a one-liner, and there's different, obviously, and I'll let you know better than I do. There's different sections in it, and you do one or two one-liners, and when they start getting that momentum and success, and Caleb now does script practice with all our loan officers at Aspire and also a 24/7 mindset. And one thing I sent this video to Dave, but if I don't know if Jeremy Owens is on this call, but he's a loan officer at Atlanta, and he hired 24/7 mindset to call his database and schedule appointments for him on his calendar, his database. I love this. First 30 days, we scheduled 23 appointments on his calendar from his past clients. He had 7 applications. He referred out 3 referrals out to his realtors. One was a $9,000 commission. Another one was a $9,000 commission. Then another one was a buy and sell deal. That's a $20,000 commission. The dude referred out almost $40,000 in commissions to his realtors from 30 days of calling his own database that he's not touched for years. And we taught him in script practice with him exactly what to say scripts of how to be able to re-engage your database while we schedule the appointments for him on his own calendar. But it makes it so much easier when you've got the confidence, because you know what to say. I think most managers, hey, you should call your database. You should call your database. What the heck do you tell them? What do you say to them? How do you open it? How do you open the conversation?
You did a great OFQ example with the CPA.
I did.
I almost mentioned that. Good job.
Thanks. I appreciate you and Bookspan. Definitely, it was a blessing and a half.
Hey, Deborah, do you and Todd have another workshop scheduled?
We do. Our next live one will be in Dallas, but we also have, for the first time, we're offering a virtual 4-hour class that's going to be offered 2 different dates in July. So if any of you are interested, just DM Todd or I, and we'll send you the info on both events.
When's your next one in Dallas?
September.
Okay.
So
Bring
by the
the
way,
team, Wally.
I want to sign up for that virtual, and I've been through the 2-day workshop. I paid for it.
And you did great, Dave. You were a great student.
I was present. I mean,
Yes.
check out my mobile phone a few times, but I did not leave. I think I left well, I had one call, but 2 full days of learning and then working on that. And I do believe in the exactly what to say framework. I do think it's a really important thing to go through. If you don't have the book, get the book, read the book. But there's reading a book, there's knowing it, and then there's building skills and habits around knowing what to say, saying the right thing, and then being so good that you could teach, train, and empower others. So I can't endorse what Todd and Deborah do enough. Sean Herrera has been through it. Anyway, countless top agents have been through it. Countless top realtors have been through it. So put that on your checklist of things that you need to do if you want to be an elite, best in class, future-proof mortgage advisor. So Wally, yesterday we did a webinar, and we'll put a link down below, where we unleashed and showed our new AI Mortgage Coach total cost analysis. So one, guys, I would love it if you watch that, because it was the CEO of our company and myself. It was about 15, not about, it was less than 15. It was like 14 minutes of us presenting. and then 15 minutes of us answering questions that came in. And I would really appreciate it if you guys, one, would watch it, and two, share it with someone in leadership, like play it forward, because I think it's a big deal. I think it's the future of the mortgage experience today. We have alpha testers using this right now. Wally, have you seen it by any chance? Have you seen the AI Mortgage Coach TCA?
I've not seen it, but I've got it flagged to watch this weekend.
Okay, so by the way, Ryan Kiefer is one of our alpha testers. So he's had it for weeks and he's been using it. So I just shared a link to it so you guys can play with it. But Wally, tell me what you think about this script. If I was to tell an advisor, hey, I want to show you how I'm using AI to help consumers pick the right loan and do it in a way that they build wealth with real estate. So one, is that kind of a sexy script?
I'd say 9 out of 10. I'd say I'd give it an 8. Maybe add a little more emotion to it.
Okay, well, I could get more emotional. Deborah, give us
Look at Wally throwing in the
Well, first
emotional
off,
card.
here's what I want to do. I want to demo it, and then I want to do a little bit of a workshop on how to use this to add a little more pop with realtors and advisors. So here's how it works, guys. The loan officer puts together the total cost analysis. Y'all know what that's about. And now consumers, they could type it in, or they could say things like, if I'm going to live in the home for 5 years, what's the best option? And then boom, it will figure out what the best option is, and it will break down that data the way AI breaks down that data. You could ask it questions like, what's the cash to close on each option? It's still in alpha, so it took a little longer than it will as it comes out in mainstream. But what is the cash to close on each option? I actually spelled a word wrong, but it figured it out. Questions that you probably don't want to, answer. Better off letting AI answer things like, what is APR? Whatever question a consumer has. And here's the beauty, guys. One, you put together this mortgage strategy, and now the consumer, they could ask questions like, what is my equity in 37 months on option 3? Whatever question they have, they can ask and get answers to that. Like here, what is my equity in 37 months on loan option 2? Whatever questions they have, they get answers. And then you, as a loan officer, get a transcript of that. So first of all, I want to get the reaction. Deborah, is this the first time you've seen it?
Yes.
Well, first, let's go with you. What do you think of that?
Can you ask it like even deeper questions, like if my goal is to sell this property in 4 years, which loan option would give me the highest equity advantage? Like you can be that.
I don't know. Let's give it a whirl. And let's pull it up. If my goal is to sell this home in 4 years, which option would be the best one for me? So by the way, the answer is yeah, it will net those out. Now, some of this depends on what it's reading the total cost analysis. So whatever the data the loan officer put in here, it's reading that data. And by the way, guys, it's usually like this. It is an alpha test right now, so it's not released in the market. But yeah, to determine the best, you look at the lowest cost, look at the equity built, breaks it down, boom, boom, boom. And then based purely on the total cost over 5 years, the future refi, which, this was an option where we put a future refi. However, it's critical to remember the future refi scenario assumes that you will refi at a specific rate. So it even connected the logic but that has an assumption. So, I mean, it's pretty, and by the way, we're seeing questions because we've got this getting pounded on the market. Are these interest rates competitive in the market?
Oh,
But by the way, guys, it's going to take that person back to the loan officer. I recommend you contact Ryan to discuss that. But that customer is thinking like that. You like it, Deborah?
Yeah,
Wally,
I
what
do.
do you think?
Well, I think what's brilliant about it, it makes it so much easier to use. I talk to a ton of loan officers every day, and one of the qualifying questions I always ask is, so how do you present options? And it's 2025, and I still get answers. Well, I got a fee sheet. I got a really awesome Excel sheet. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And we talk about mortgage choice. Well, I don't know how to use it. It was complicated, or I don't know how to present the options. I think what you've been able to build in that the AI formula allows you to be able to make it so easy to articulate the value that you, as a loan officer, you don't need to have a huge like IQ, mortgage IQ. You're asking questions, you're regurgitating back, being able to regurgitate back to the client all those answers, which is going to make you look brilliant, which is going to help you win the deal, helps you make more money.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And by the way, what you just saw was the borrower facing mortgage coach total cost analysis. The loan officer facing also has the AI built into it, and it knows you're in that loan officer side. So it makes you as a loan officer smarter. You can get answers from the TCA quicker. It's empowering the consumer. It's allowing you to know what the consumer is thinking and asking. We think it is a revolution in how mortgage advice is delivered. You know, we think we have the best way to deliver advice to consumers, and we think the best way just got better. So
Well,
that'll,
you're also going where the puck is headed, where you look at even Gen Zs, like they have zero tolerance for if they go to your website and it takes a long time to load, like they're off to the next. So I think this really helps. If I was positioning this to an agent partner, I mean, for them, they need the speed, the need that you always talk about, and even anticipating the need. So to be able to give this resource to the borrowers to be able to instantly make very informed decisions with this tool. So when they are comparing homes and they do need to submit an offer from an agent standpoint, like you get annoyed when they can't make a decision. So then you stall and then you lose out on an opportunity, and that's a commission for the agent. So this just helps people make more informed decisions with confidence and competence quicker, which I think agents will like a lot.
yeah. So, hey, Wally, let's you and I talk offline because I mean he's been brave enough to make sure that he has both our mortgage coach for his loan officers and our data services. Let's make sure you're getting early access to the latest and greatest. And I'm happy to do some training because by the way, that's part of like Trust Engine. We're all about speed to need. Let's get to the consumer as early and fast as we possibly can using data. And then, by the way, we're using AI to not only empower the borrower, like you just said, but to also create the total cost analysis. So, Wally, you'll be one of the first to get the automated TCA. That'll be out sometime late summer.
Yep.
The AI is coming out in July, and then sometime in August, automated TCA. But guys, this is where the puck is going. So, Wally, I would love to know, and you, Deborah, feel free to add your thoughts on scripting. Is there ways, knowing that you're going to have, an AI mortgage coach, is there any way that you might either say something different to the borrower when you give them the total cost analysis? Is there any scripting you might edit? And is there anything that you might say to agents or to partners that, are there any edits you would do to your current scripting? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would say I don't know who came up with it. It might have been you or I can't remember who it was, but it was like the modern loan officer. And it was that slogan out there. I think if loan officers can articulate more how their modern mindset, their modern actions, it's 2025. AI is obviously the next big thing, or it's currently the big thing that you see out there. So when you're articulating your value, I'd make sure to articulate the value that you use so much AI to make the client experience so much easier. Use AI as a loan officer to make the client presentation of the numbers to be so much easier and more articulate. But then also, just because I, as a loan officer, as a human being, think you should pick option two out of all four options, that's just my opinion. But I've gone into my mortgage AI and I've broke down the goals that you have. You're going to be in the house for 5 years. you're going to be, you want to have the lowest down payment, but the lowest overall cost option. And I've confirmed it with technology through AI that yes, option 2 out of all 4 options is the best one. And here is a list that broken down by AI of why that's the best option to meet your goals. Here's a list by AI of why option 1, 3, and 4 do not meet your goals.
Love that. By the way, guys, we're going to turn that into a clip and just have Wally's script on how to position AI. If you want to get that, make sure you're part of the Savage Insiders Mobile Club. I just put a text message. Just text 949-799-0837. And by Monday, we'll have a little clip on that. And then a couple times a week, if you want to go from loan officer to modern advisor, to use our tech, be part of that. Also, it's not really new anymore. It's been around for over a year, but the modern Mortgage IQ community, Wally is active in that community. Deborah is active in that community. There is an assessment. I think a lot of you have been through the assessment. I think there's over like 800 loan officers that have gone through this assessment, but make sure if you haven't, go through it. By the way, if you've done it in the past, it's been updated. Kristen Messerly updated it. Some of the proceeds from this community go to First Home IQ, but make sure you take the modern Mortgage IQ assessment. If you haven't done it, take it today. If you did do it months ago, it's been updated, so check it out. Deborah, anything you want to add to some of that scripting that Wally had or some of those thoughts?
I would have to think about it some more, but I would say somehow packaging and making, like, highlighting the fact that the AI is doing the heavy lifting and can model out the cash flow and equity growth and break even, points within each loan option. So that way, there's no guesswork and clients can see where every dollar, is working for them. I don't know. I'd have to play with it, but I think from a consumer standpoint, what they care about most is just making sure they're getting accurate information that's at their fingertips. It's not some salesperson that's pushing their own agenda. And to echo what Wally said, this is what modern mortgage professionals, this is what they do for their clients, which is above and beyond the, order taker LO who just prints out a PDF itemized fee sheet.
I'm also thinking, I mean, Deborah just gave me an idea. We're talking about conversations with the borrower. Where my mind goes to is, how can we look at this being a multiplier loan officer instead of an addition loan officer? And where my mind goes to is a 6-lane highway with having these conversations and showing your long math, your AI long math, to the financial advisor. Hey, Mr. Financial Advisor, I've gone on there and I put together a total cost analysis for John Smith, our mutual client. Here's all broken down, all 4 different options. Here's where I recommend per what they told me their goals are. And I've also cross-references with my MortgageCoach AI. And here's the data points why MortgageCoach AI says it's also the best option to go. I would love to get your financial feedback as their financial advisor. It is, I think to me, it shows that you've gone the extra mile to show your long math, which gives you more credibility in the eyes of the financial advisor, which separates you from any other loan officer out there and makes you look different, which allows you to get more business for them easier.
Even if the financial advisor could use that when they're sitting in front, like if you've adopted their database and they have access to this TCA and they could ask it questions and then they know when to pivot it back to you to start the refi, or maybe you're going to take equity out to buy the next investment property because it's a self-employed, someone who needs a cost sec. Like, imagine just how much more powerful those referrals could be even back to you.
Well, I'd even know what I love about MortgageCoach is, when a client comes in and say, hey, I want to put 50% down to buy this house. I'm making a killing for my current house. When you talk about it, okay, you figure out, okay, all right, so I think you should only put 20% down. Let's take the additional 30% that you're putting down. Let's have a conversation with your financial advisor. From your financial advisor, how else can you grow your net worth, your wealth? And I've run it through my MortgageCoach AI. And here's what my MortgageCoach AI says you're leaving on the table through your net worth.
That's good. I like that.
You're leaving on your table through your net worth. And about an hour ago, I just got the phone with your financial advisor, Patty Sue, and Patty confirmed that you're leaving X, Y, and Z net worth on the table with an 8% return on your money. But I think, again, the AI it helps a loan officer that's intimidated by technology or that doesn't know what to say or how to frame it. It helps them give them the verbal words to be able to frame it, which helps them be more articulate, which helps them be more confident.
Boom. Well, guys, this is coming soon. When Jeremy saw it this Tuesday, this is his scripting. This, I said, Jeremy, what do you think? He was wowed. I'm like, how will you adjust what you say to a consumer? So here's Jeremy's script. This is a clip from this Tuesday's interview where it was all about how to future-proof and rocket-proof mortgage careers with Jeremy. We'll put a link to that, but here's a minute. Like here's his quick script, and then I'd love feedback from both of you on it.
Dave, it was awesome meeting with you. Here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a total cost analysis, which is going to be a video presentation of some of the things that we talked about in strategies, et cetera. There's going to be a video of me in the corner walking you through it, and you might have questions when you're watching it. Here's what's great is that you can interact with it and you can ask questions in a chat screen within it, and it will answer your questions. So you can ask things like, hey, what's the best program on here for me if I'm going to live in the house for 10 years? You could ask it like, what's the lowest cost option? You could ask it, if I'm going to refinance in 12 months, like which option would be most cost effective to me? So you can ask it any of these questions that you want and get answers. And then I would love to go over and review that with you and make sure it's in alignment with what your long-term strategy is. So if you have any questions, type them in the chat. Feel free to forward it to me, of course, as well, but use it when things pop in your head to see what it says. And then that way you can ask me better questions to create the best clarity for yourself.
So something we obsess, by the way, did you like that, Wally?
Absolutely love it. I wish we lived closer together. I love that guy.
Yeah, no, it's good. But guys, here's the deal. There's two battles being waged in mortgage, and the battle is intensifying. There's the speed to need battle, like who can identify the needs even before the consumer starts clicking. Like who can, like, hey, this person could move up. They should move up. And then there's the speed to decision. Who can actually give that consumer clarity and can help that consumer have a decision the fastest? Speed to need, speed to decision. Battle is on. And this gives you an advantage to be that mortgage advisor. Wally, you had a thought?
Holy smokes. I think you just gave me an idea that I think an average loan officer can probably add $250,000 of income to their easily per year. Okay. So when you're on the phone with a client, tell us in the chat if this has ever happened to you. You're on the phone with a client, they're at a 3% interest rate. And you're asking them, you're doing your annual mortgage review or your mortgage efficiency checkup call, and you're having the conversation with the client, and the client's like, yeah, I'm at my 3% mortgage. I don't want to do a cash out, but I've got this credit card that's at 22%. I've got this credit card that's at 27%. I got this installment loan that's at 19%. And you look at their debts, I'm like, dude, you got to let go of your 3% interest rate and you've got to refinance to a cash out loan, wipe away all this debt. I can get you a rate of 6.8 or 6.9 right now in today's market. Like, no, I don't want to let go of my 3% rate. You put that in chat. Okay, no problem. Jeremy was brilliant about this a second ago. Well, let's pull up your total cost analysis. Let's put this question in the chat. If I've got $44,000 of credit card debt, and my average interest rate on my credit card debt is 21%, but my mortgage is at 3%, should I do a cash out loan to pay off the rest of my debt? It gives you the ability to have technology come back to you. And yeah, it's a no-brainer. You should do the cash out loan because then your overall interest that you're paying on your mortgage, that goes up a little bit, but then the overall interest that you're paying on all the other $44,000 with the revolving debt goes away. I think that would make it so much easier for a loan officer to articulate the value to their past client to do a cash out loan to pay off the debt.
Yeah, and this is where we'll be bringing a lot of leadership to you, because as you put different total cost analysis together, there's going to be some what I call prompt leadership, where, and Jeremy brought this up. He's like, hey, I'm actually going to, one, this is what I would say. And then I will probably in the email give them some suggested prompts. So for a cash out refi, another prompt might be, which option is going to help me have the highest net worth in 10 years? And and then it answers, how much will my net worth be better off with, let's just say, the debt consol option over 20 years? And of course, it's going to look better. And then you can do the same thing with a move up, where Patty Newby, Dallas, Texas. You guys all know Patty. I interviewed her recently, and she's doing a total cost analysis where I got a lot of people with 2, 3, 4%. Column A. Here's your current home. Here's your current rate, and they want to move up. They qualify to move up. They have some needs to move up. She puts in the move up. It's a higher purchase price. She has whatever the home appreciation rate is in that. And now she's showing an option like, hey, what's better off? What's if I'm gonna, have a home for the next 10 years, which option will improve my net worth the most? By the way, that little thumbs down was self-inflicted. I don't know, did you see that, D-Bird?
Yes, I did.
That was wild. But so by the way, you will be able to put these together, and then you will be able to, what I call prompt leadership, give suggestions and ideas, but then let the customer run with it and again, know what they want. So
Is there a way to train the AI, and this may not be possible, but where it, like, say it knows exactly what products that Wally has, and essentially it's constantly also selling Wally or positioning Wally as,
I'm going to push everybody to watch the announcement because that was one of the questions answered.
okay.
And our CEO answered that question in the Q&A part. So guys, my ask is, like, here at Trust Engine, we believe all homeowners, all borrowers can achieve financial freedom. But guys, they can only do that if we get to the need early and if we help them get to the decision by, hey, this is how you have homeownership and build your net worth and achieve financial freedom. So we're building an engine. We're using AI. We're using data. We're using customer experience with a mobile first perspective to optimize financial freedom for consumers. So listen to that. Please share that. Like, if you're watching this and you don't have Mortgage Coach built into your tech stack like Wally does. And by the way, Mortgage Coach Next Gen is data plus Mortgage Coach plus AI. So all of that comes under one umbrella. And if you don't have Mortgage Coach Next Gen built into your tech stack, let your leadership know. They should. Please forward the video that, I don't know if Paul has shared it yet, but we'll get it shared before this call is out.
Yeah, it's in the chat. Dave, let's connect after this. So I've got I don't know if this is accessible to me or not, but I've got a financial advisor meeting next week. He's got about 800 clients, and we're talking about adopting his database into our.
Well, yeah, I'll get you hooked up, bro.
Get me hooked up, because what I'm going to do when I present to him, I'm going to try out that script, because in my mind, where I'm going, if I'm sitting down with him, I'm going to pull up the total cost analysis. I'm going to say, hey, in the chat, and I'm going to ask it a question. It's asking live, and then I'm going to ask him, does your mortgage lender that you refer business to right now, do they have a tool like this that allows their clients to have an expert advice of a loan officer 24/7, the different 24/7 than my world, the 24/7 for the sake of 365 days a year. So I want to try out that script live next week.
Can we get Wally those like recording glasses? So when he's at this meeting, he's like recording the meeting and we can all tune in and take notes. That would be great.
Love it. Let's do it. All
Lots
right,
of
Wally, we are in the fourth quarter. I know you have, other ideas and things you want to make sure we shared today. What else you got?
Yeah. Well, hold on. I'm kind of confused. First quarter, fourth quarter. I know Deborah is laughing because I think I'm a smart guy, but let's elaborate, because I can't be the only one asking. So how are we? I get we're at 15 minutes left, but didn't you say we're in the fourth quarter in the first quarter?
No, he said first quarter.
First
Yeah,
quarter.
well, now
Yeah,
we're in the fourth
first.
quarter. Now we're in the fourth quarter.
My dyslexia took off, and I'm like,
And my ADD is always in action. So I say a lot of things that
how do you think I've got?
they didn't come out what I was thinking. They just come out.
Sorry, squirrel moment. No, I would just, you can't sleep on your database. I'd say the biggest thing about that is Most loan officers have such a high level of reluctance to their database, but it's a really easy conversation when you sit down with a realtor and say, hey, here's my database. Here's the value I've been able to provide in my database post-closing, helping them remove monthly mortgage insurance, helping them shop around their home insurance, helping connect them with financial advisors or CPAs to protect and grow their wealth. You're showing that you're adding value with that realtor's database. But then it's a simple question back. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Realtor, do you ever struggle being in communication with your past clients? And if you do, my team here in Dallas, Texas has a client concierge department that can call your clients and schedule for you annual real estate reviews on your calendar. That's been a huge, awesome tool, but you first have to be able to call your past clients. So Dave and Deb, I've got a question for you. What do you think the number one reason why a loan officer does not reach out to their past clients is?
Either they don't have a CRM. So they don't even know, they don't have like a clean list, or maybe they've switched companies so many times, they don't have a clean list. And then the other component to that is maybe they've said, because they've learned how to convert at point of sale, like, this is what we do. We help you carry the largest debt that we just helped you create. We're going to stay in contact with you. And then they don't. So then they feel a little bit of like a fraud.
Okay.
So those would be the two main reasons I believe people don't. Either they don't have a plan, so they don't use the win by noon planner to win by noon. They don't have a clean list. And then the reluctance of like, crap, I said I was going to do this and I didn't.
I love it. All right, Dave, what do you think? Number one reason a loan officer does not reach out to their past clients.
Well, they're going to say that they're too busy, chasing new
This
loans.
market? I don't think anyone.
I trust me, bro.
Market.
Hey, by the way, in chat right now, guys, if you think on a scale of 1 to 10, you're a 10, reaching out to your past clients regularly, consistently, do not answer this. But if you're a 5 or less, which I know all loan officers are, not all, but the majority, what is the number one reason that you don't do it? So put that in chat. Let's just see. Please, let's get at least 5 of you to put that in. We've got, how many people we got on here? We got over 40 people live on the call. What is, just a couple of you? And if there's some coaches and leaders of loan officers, what do you think the number one reason is that they don't? But they're going to stay busy. It's not the highest value thing to do. I don't know exactly what to say. Those were my thoughts. I don't know what to say. Patrick said it. Fear of not knowing what to say. So we got 2 fear of not knowing what to says.
That's it. I mean, I think if you look at like what's the fire and what's the smoke, what Deb was kind of sharing, do they have a plan? Do they have technology? Do they have a CRM? But the biggest fear is they don't want to look stupid. They don't want to call and be like, hey, Bob, I haven't talked to you in 2 years. How's it going? And they don't have a
Remember me?
Yeah, I closed your loan.
Yeah.
I made $10,000 off you. Haven't called.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing is they don't know what to say. And I think that's where exactly what to say has been an absolute game changer. I mean, we would have a very awesome offensive play with our mortgage efficiency checkups and our client concierge thing. We've always done great at that. But what's been really cool in watching the multiplier effect and watching other loan officers get engaged from it is taking what we learned from exactly what to say from the certification with Deborah and also Todd Bookspan. If you're thinking about it or you're on the fence, I highly, highly recommend it. And I'm happy to share my scripts with them that they can share it with you guys. But we put together exactly what to say scripts specifically for a mortgage efficiency checkup call of you calling your past clients. And then now we've done the same exact thing when we ask our realtors, when we schedule for them annual real estate reviews for them on their calendar, we're also giving them exactly what to say scripts for a realtor's point of view of how to articulate your value on those calls. So I think Deb and Todd, you guys have such a great, awesome leg up on the market that you incorporate with them the exactly what to say scripts. I think that eliminates 99% of the loan officer's reluctance to stay engaged with their database.
So Wally, I have a question with if you're a solo LO, like go back to the Wally early days where it was just you and you don't have a team that will help call your database, like this concierge team. I said it correctly. I always get mixed up on that word. So concierge team. How would you recommend a solo LO to tackle this? Because again, it's just them.
Yeah, there's two answers to that question. If you want to hit the easy button, you want to hit the easy button. 24/7 mindset concierge can call your past clients for you. You pay them a fee. They call your past clients. They schedule mortgage efficiency checkups on your calendar, like the Jeremy Owens stats I gave earlier. He's not part of Aspire. He's not part of our company. He's all the way in Atlanta. We call this database, schedule 23 appointments on his calendar. So there's a done for you process, number one. Number two, in 24/7 mindset is also a course that is also, if you're a solo loan officer, this is the scripts that you say. Here's the email templates that you say. When you're calling to schedule appointments, here's also what you say. Here's the text templates. And here's the voice drop templates. Everything's broken down in step-by-step manual. So there's a done for you process and there's a do it yourself process. Depends on what the loan officer wants to do with 24/7 mindset.
And y'all don't steal my clients, right? If you guys, the 24/7 people.
Great question. I love that. And what's beautiful about that is our contracts with them. There's a line in there that my attorney put together, and also that you see, that if a loan officer's database is ever stolen, per offense, $10,000 fine per offense that's paid. $10,000 fine per offense that's paid. And it's like, I've got a 28,000 person database that I already have, that my clients, I don't need anybody else's database. So being able to say, hey, here's $10,000 per person that you put in your database, that is pre-work.
And there's people in the chat asking, how do they get information on this program?
Great question. Let me put my email in the chat and then I'll connect them with Caleb.
So Wally, while you're putting the email in chat, because we're getting ready to launch Mortgage Coach Next Gen, I just can't help myself. This is just such a perfect tie-in. Let me
we saw you dancing a minute ago and doing like this and stuff.
Yeah, well, I was just making sure I was pointing my finger in the right direction, assuming I'm going to be able to get this to work. So guys, this is the Mortgage Coach Next Gen app. So when this rolls out in for sure by August, like, it will be monitoring your data. So we will have your data, and Wally, you will have this. And it will be not only telling you things like, hey, someone ran a credit report and they're cheating on me. That is the Sales Boomerang product line that does that credit data, and Wally has that. But the Mortgage Coach Next Gen data, hey, this person's getting ready to move up. It's got a place to email, text, or call. You scroll down and you can put in scripts, exactly what to say with that situation, exactly what to text, copy text, and those scripts will be updated on a per branch basis. So, and again, you'll have everything in the palm of your hand. And this particular app will also allow you to edit and update the actual Mortgage Coach total cost analysis. So the integration with the actual TCA is just getting more and more powerful, more and more integrated. So like, going forward, when you think of Mortgage Coach Next Gen, think of speed to need, getting to that consumer early. Think of helping them make the decision quickly, rapidly, get clarity, all in one mobile app for loan officers. That is Mortgage Coach Next Gen with an AI wrap around it, Wally. You like that vision?
I absolutely love that vision. And if you want me to share, so we've got exactly what to say scripts for mortgage efficiency checkup calls. We've also got exactly what to say scripts for triggers from Sales Boomerang, and also HomeBot, exactly what to say scripts. So like at 24/7 mindset, like the biggest thing we focus on eliminating is any call reluctance whatsoever and not knowing what to say. But there's so many awesome tools that we've got access to, from Sales Boomerang to HomeBot to Mortgage Coach and total cost analysis, that you need to be able to have the confidence that you're articulating value and you don't look like a Yahoo. But those, again, I feel like a poster child for exactly what to say. Those scripts are phenomenal.
We'll take it, Wally, all day. Thank you.
Yeah, and here's Wally's email, everybody. Here's Wally's email, and And we will, like, if you're watching this on YouTube, there'll be a link down below brought to you by housing.link. And in that one link, all the links that are mentioned today will be in that one link. So you will have a link to the webinar that we talked about. You know, I mentioned Jeremy Forcier's interview last week. Boom. I mentioned the quick hit videos. Boom. Of course, make sure you get into the Savage Insiders Mobile Club if you're not already in it. We gave you the text number. I'll give it to you one more. Wally, what are the best places to follow you? I mean, I know you're active on social media. I know you've got, you know, great websites, but if anybody is listening to this, they want to make sure they keep in touch with you. They want to make sure they got the latest and greatest from Wally. How do they do that?
Yeah, I would just say go to Facebook and go to the private groups and I need to do a better job of working this. Like, I think you just saved my tail by doing it. I need to do it to everyone. All right. So 24/7 Mindset Academy. So just go to Facebook, go to groups, and then put 24-7 Mindset Academy. And literally, I'm in there probably 3 to 4 times a day, giving nuggets, giving away templates, giving away scripts. It's something that it's just a passion of mine. So go to 24-7 Mindset Academy private Facebook group, and a great way to communicate with me from there. I'm personally in there on a daily basis.
All right, you guys heard it. Deborah Bird, do a Todd Bookspan win by noon close.
Hey, give me just a second because I'm actually getting the exact URL for Wally.
Oh, I could do that. I
Oh,
can do
okay.
that.
Put in the chat for his academy.
I will be your social media.
Okay, thank you.
You know,
My biggest takeaway from this is the power of a database, and then also the 6-lane highway of how you optimize a database. So if you're the loan officer, and maybe you're the solo LO right now, and you're feeling a little overwhelmed with just, you know, the Rocket Mortgage, and let's say you're in Dallas and you're competing against someone like Wally. How do you compete against someone like Wally who's got this tech stack and this team wrapped around him? Like, really think about that. And go back to what Wally said, where it's not about being better, it's about being different. And if you notice how Wally thinks, he's constantly thinking, not like an LO, but as a problem solver. What do his partners need? And how does he become the solutionist to those problems, which then makes them very loyal and sticky? So most real estate agents, one of their biggest challenges is their database. A lot of them don't have a database, let alone a strategy to incubate and nurture that database. Same thing with CPAs, financial advisors. So how can you be the solutionist to the people that you serve beyond just the customer, but also the partners and different community members that you live in? So that's what I would challenge you all to really think about, is if I had to go up against Wally tomorrow, what can I do differently that would provide value that maybe he hasn't thought of yet? And then I want you to rate your current database and your tech strategy. Like, do you have a systematic, automatic process that continuously feeds and grows your CRM and your database? And if not, reach out to us, let us help you, because that's going to be a requirement moving forward. Is, are you constantly growing your database, nurturing your database, and feeding it? So yeah, that's it, Dave. What do you have, Wally?
No, I'd say I love that. I think you did a pretty darn good Todd Bookspan job there. So thank you for that. I just say, you know, I've got 28,000 households in my Mortgage Coach, in my HomeBot, in my Sales Boomerang, and in my Jingo, while only 4,000 of those past clients are my past clients in there. The additional 24,000 are my CPAs database, my financial advisors databases, my family will attorneys databases, my insurance agents databases. And I use technology tools like HomeBot to get them to raise their hand. And when I pick up the phone and say, hey, Mr. CPA, I've referred you 3 clients last month. One of your clients, Patty Sue, just listed their house and I just got a Sales Boomerang trigger. Can you reach out to Patty Sue and then refer her to me? These are tools that through technology, through coaching by Dave and Mortgage Coach, that have helped me develop an easier way to do business. When you see a loan officer is doing 100 million versus a loan officer is doing 50 million, the $100 million loan officer is not much smarter. It's not better at scripting. They're better at systems and they're better at articulating their value. Use Mortgage Coach to do that.
all right, guys, let's close it out. So the path to being future-proof. Like Wally is a level 5 modern mortgage advisor that is going to win in every market. And everybody that follows this channel, comes to our Tuesday call, follows our YouTube channel, like we're giving you the playbook. We're interviewing the best of the best. I just put a link also to the Modern Mortgage IQ platform, where 5 years of the Modern Mortgage Summit and the Modern Real Estate Summit are all there, all AI enabled. Thank you to Whoosy.ai, a partner that helps out both First Home IQ and Modern Mortgage IQ. So there's a 10-day free trial. Sign up. Make sure you have an assessment. Make sure that you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. Make sure you're locked in to Savage Insiders Club. So make sure that mobile club is signed up. And please give Wally a thank you in social media, whatever channel you live in. Wally's in all channels. Send him a private message. Say, hey, thanks for the leadership today. Give him a little message and hope that you get value from today's call. Deborah Bird, you're the bomb. Thank you so much. Wally, you're the man. And this is a wrap, everybody. Take care. Have a
Yeah.
great weekend.